Good afternoon, everyone, from Geneva, Switzerland. I'm right outside the train station of Geneva right now. And today we have a very important mission for the channel. We're gonna go and take a train here in Switzerland, and we're gonna get something that's been very important for this channel in the past and which will continue to be important in the future. You'll see what I mean in a bit. And along the way on this very important adventure, I'm going to answer your questions that you have asked me. So let us go get on a train. And here you can see, this is one of my favorite things about the train station in Geneva. They have a map of Europe with all the places you can go by train, and you have all of the cathedrals or the main religious buildings of all of the different cities. So you have Switzerland here in the middle, and then you have, you can go to Rome, you can go to Madrid, Paris, Belgrade, Sofia, Istanbul, and you have all of the main attractions to go and see. A beautiful map. We started our journey here in the city of Geneva, and we are currently on this train that will take us to Renan, and our mission that we need to complete is here in Lausanne, which is the best city in Switzerland. So our first set of questions comes from Tvrtko the First. I love when historical figures watch my videos, and Tvrtko asks 3 questions. Number 1, what is my favorite country to visit? I think that those who have watched a lot of my videos will know that there are 2 answers to that. Number 1 is probably pretty obviously Bosnia and Herzegovina. I've spent a lot of time there. I've made a lot of videos there. And it's no coincidence. I really fell in love with the country the first time that I went there, both in its villages and in its cities, especially Sarajevo, which is a place that I lived in for a few months. And yeah, I would absolutely live there again. It's a beautiful country. It's very slow, the pace of life, and I really appreciate that the people there have family values. They really value just having a meal, or especially drinking coffee and just chatting for hours, and I really appreciate that. And something that I really appreciate about Bosnia and Herzegovina is the diversity of things that you can find there. So first of all, geographically speaking, you have the 2 regions of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which have completely different climates, completely different feels, geographies, etc. Herzegovina is much more Mediterranean, it's warmer, the weather is better, and then you have Bosnia with its green fields, and it's both are pretty mountainous. And then also just culturally speaking, I mean, obviously you have 3 constituent peoples of Bosnia. You have Serbs, Croats, and Bosniak Muslims. And so it really gives you a different feel in every city that you go to, and I think that that's really charming about Bosnia. The other country that I really, really love, that you'll know if you've watched my channel for a long time, is Lebanon. And Lebanon I love for completely different reasons than I love Bosnia. Bosnia has this much slower pace of life, whereas Lebanon is very fast and chaotic, and there's beauty in that chaos. The Lebanese people are very resilient. They've lived through so many different things, and they still manage to keep this sense of humor, which I really appreciate. Their food is also the best in the world, in my opinion. I don't think there's another cuisine that is better all around when Lebanese food is made right. Yeah, it's just also a very warm culture. Beirut is, along with Sarajevo, one of my favorite cities in the whole world. So many things to do there, amazing nightlife, great food, great people. So those are the top 2. I have a lot of appreciation and great memories in both of those places, and I look forward to going back to both of them. And you should go too. Tvrtko's second question is, was it hard to learn Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian? The answer is yes. It's not an easy language to learn. That being said, I'm also learning Arabic, and it's much easier than Arabic. But that being said, some of the grammar, especially the grammatical cases, is really difficult, and so I don't really bother learning it. I just kind of speak and make mistakes, and I'm sure that the native speakers notice all my mistakes, but overall, it's a great language, and I want to make a video about how I learned it more in detail soon. So let's get on this tram now. And finally, Tvrtko's third and final question: how much money do I usually spend traveling around the Balkans? This is a really good question, and it definitely depends on the kind of trip that I'm doing. There have been 2 times where I've done a full-fledged trip where I start out from Switzerland, I fly or take a train to the Balkans. I spend, in both cases, 10 days there. I film some content, and then I fly back to Switzerland. The first of those was 2022. I went to Kosovo for 10 days and I filmed 4 videos, and Montenegro I actually went to for 1 day. And in those 10 days, including flights, lodging, which I usually stay in hostels, but occasionally if there's no hostels available, I'll get a guest house or say like just a private apartment. In that trip, I spent 500 euros just about, so that includes flights, food, and lodging, and transportation within Kosovo and Montenegro. So that was about, including the flights, $50 a day, 50 euros a day, so that was not too bad. And then the second trip, which was when I went to Kosovo again, North Macedonia, and Serbia, that was an 11-day trip in 2023. And on that trip, I spent about 600 euros, so a little bit more. Obviously, I went to Serbia, which is a bit more expensive. I spent a couple nights in Belgrade, so that will drive up the price a bit. But then also last year, there were 2 times where I spent, 3 times, I guess, actually, like an extended period of time in Sarajevo. And I spent in total about 2 months, 2.5 months there. And so what I would do is I would get an apartment like on booking.com for 3 or 4 weeks. And so, you know, you pay a lot less per night. So I was renting an entire apartment for about 20 euros a night. And, you know, then I'm living there. So I'm like grocery shopping and everything. But also I had a remote job at the time. So it was a lot more sustainable because I could stay there, I could do my remote job, and then I could do YouTube in my free time. So yeah, so that was, you know, when I'm more stable like that, I'm spending less, and also I was making money, so I was able to really sustain myself. The trip that I'm going to be going on in a couple weeks back to the Balkans, I'll be doing more that first kind of style where I'll take a train and then I'll travel around for about 10 days and then I'll fly back to Switzerland. So we'll see how much that trip will cost. I'll probably rent a car at some point, so it'll probably be a bit more expensive. But my goal is and has always been, especially now that my YouTube channel is monetized, to make at least some of that back from the ad revenue from YouTube. Which brings me to the next question, which is YouTube my job? A couple people also asked if it could be my full-time job and I could be like a full-time vlogger in the Balkans, would I do it? So to answer the first question, no, YouTube is not my job. I do make some money from YouTube, but it's nothing, you know, it's nice. It helps me to be able to travel and go film more content, which is great. You know, it's helped me to upgrade some of my equipment. It's helped me to, you know, go and travel. And that comes from ad revenue, and it also comes from my Patreon. So thanks to everyone who watches and who supports. So just to be, you know, transparent, YouTube is not my job, but I do make some money every month. I mean, it's never more than maybe a couple of $100s, but that is money that I use to put back into the channel, which allows me to go and travel like I'm gonna do next month in April. And yeah, so thank you for all of your support. I really do appreciate it. And the other question there is, would I ever want YouTube to be my job? And the answer is probably. I mean, we'll see where it goes. My channel is still quite small. It's obviously growing a lot, so thanks to everyone who's watching. And we recently hit 10,000 subscribers. We're at 11,000 now, so thanks to everyone who supports. And yeah, I mean, that's the dream, right? Is to be able to do this for a living. I really, really love making videos. I really love traveling. Especially to, you know, the places that I've mentioned, and I want to travel to some new places on the channel as well. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. That's the answer. fun fact, Lausanne is the smallest city in the world which has a metro system. Okay, so now you're probably wondering why we're here on the outskirts of Lausanne, and it's finally time to answer that question. What could possibly be in this inconspicuous office building here on the outskirts of the city of Lausanne that could possibly be relevant to this channel? And the answer, because this is something that a lot of people have asked me about as well, is my Ville de Lausanne hat. It's a little baseball cap that I used to have. I used to live in Switzerland. Well, I do live in Switzerland now, but I also lived in Switzerland in 2020 to 2023. I did my master's here in Lausanne. I was studying here for 2.5 years. And one summer, I had a summer job here in Lausanne, in the parks, basically handing out trash bags to people who were having picnics. And for this job, they gave me this hat, Ville de Lausanne, which means City of Lausanne. And I loved this hat. It was comfortable, it fit nicely, it was stylish. And I made a lot of videos wearing that hat, and a lot of you asked, like, where did you possibly get this hat from? Like, you're an American guy traveling in the Balkans. Why do you have a City of Lausanne hat? And so that's how I got it. But then last March 2024, I lost the hat somewhere in Bosnia. I think it was when I went to Čapljina in Herzegovina. And I think I left it on the train or something, and so I don't have the hat anymore. But I wrote an email to the City of Lausanne the other day, to the parks people, and I basically explained the situation. I said, I love this hat. People, they comment about the hat. They wonder why I have this Swiss Lausanne hat. And so I asked if I could come and like buy another one. And they said that if I just come here today, that they would give me another hat for free. So let's go and try to get that hat, and then we'll be all decked out and we can block the sun. Let's ride. That was so easy. They had it waiting for me and everything. So let's get away from this busy road. We'll go for a little walk and I'll answer the rest of your questions here in Lausanne. Whew. It's the end of March, but it's already beautiful here in Switzerland. Had to take off the sweater. And I want to shout out this shirt and the store where I got it from. I forgot the name, I'll put it here. But yeah, this is a shirt depicting Sarajevo. This is Vučko, the Olympic mascot from the 1984 Olympics when they were held in Yugoslavia in Sarajevo. And so he is kind of like the mascot of the city. And yeah, I really love this design. So shout out to the good people at... So yeah, I just want to say thank you to the Swiss for this hat as well. I love the Swiss people. The Swiss get a bad rap because people say that they're very closed and they're very cold, and it can be very hard to kind of like break your way into Swiss circles. But once you get to know the Swiss, they're amazing people. They're so friendly. They'll really go out of their way to help you. So yeah, I just want to say thank you to the good people at the Park Service of Lausanne. And now we have our hat back. This is really setting us up for some nice adventures coming up. So yeah, you need a good hat if you want to be a good vlogger. That's what I've learned. Okay, next two questions. We have Teisendorf, who asks, what am I doing in Switzerland? Currently I'm working in Switzerland. I'm working in Geneva. I used to be in Lausanne here for a couple of years, and now I'm in Geneva. So yes, I'm working there. And then we have LBBBBBB, who asks, how do I know Croatian and Italian? Italian was the first language I ever learned. I really, really love the Italian language. I studied it originally at university, didn't really learn it very well. And then I had a friend who needed to learn it for work. So we decided to learn it together. And I kind of have learned it over the years. And it's something that will hopefully come in handy on our next trip to the Balkans. So that might indicate where we will be going, just to tease that. And then how do I speak Croatian, Bosnian, Serbian? It started with friends, and then of course traveling, I picked it up more. But like I said, I want to make an entire video talking about how I learned the language and my story with learning the language and starting my YouTube channel. There were also some questions about how I started my YouTube channel, so I'm going to answer in an entirely separate video. And now we've made it to the lake. the Lac Léman, as it's called, the Lake Léman. And down that way is Geneva, where we came from this morning. And then here is Lausanne, and here's the mountains. And now I'll walk along the lake and I'll answer some more of your questions. But yeah, this is a beautiful area on the west side of Lausanne along the lake called Vidi. It's a giant park. In the summer, there's a ton of people here having barbecues, picnics. They have a skate park, they have volleyball courts, basketball courts. And this is where I was working in the parks when I got my Ville de Lausanne hat. So, very special place here in Vidi. Okay, next we have Acidic Venom, who kind of asks a similar thing to the last question. How do I speak Italian and Serbo-Croatian so well? The answer is a lot of practice. And the part 2 of the question is, do I have family from there? Well, my ancestors are from mostly from Italy, but also, as we've explored on the channel, a bit from Croatia, probably from Dalmatia. And then those ancestors fled from the Ottomans in the 1500s, about 500 years ago, and settled in Molise. So I had ancestors who likely were Slavic speaking in southern Italy, but I do have some ancestry from Italy, but no connections to it. So my speaking the languages has nothing to do with my ancestry. Maybe it's in my blood, but the answer to how I have learned the languages so well is a lot of hard work and speaking them a lot. And the next question we have Amir from Rochester. So first of all, my dad is from Rochester, Amir, so there you go. I've been there many times. Thank you for your question. And your question is, would I ever invest in buying a home in Bosnia? And if so, where would I do it? Yes, absolutely. Unequivocally, I would love to own some property in Bosnia someday if I ever have the money to own property. Yeah, no, I would love to have like an apartment or a house or something around Sarajevo. It's no secret that I love that city. And I could also see myself, because you know, when you travel through Bosnia or the Balkans in general, you'll just be in a small town and you'll see a house that says for sale, prodaje se, and you can't imagine that a lot of those houses would cost a lot of money. So I would also love to buy a house in the countryside of Bosnia, and maybe in Tuzla Canton or something. That's the first place I ever traveled in Bosnia, and I think that there's some beautiful villages and mountains. Yeah, so that's the answer is yes. I would love to have a place in Bosnia someday where I can go and spend time. And guys, when Dino Merlin said "Moje život Švicarska," this is what he meant. This is the Swiss beauty right here. This is why people want to come here. Look at how clear the water is. Look at the mountains. This is as beautiful as it gets. Down here you have Montreux, where you have the Montreux Jazz Festival. Down there is Geneva. And these are the French Alps. Evian, which is where the water comes from. And then over there is Switzerland, and the city of Lausanne is up there, if you can see it a bit. Okay, now we have 5 questions from Pink Sheep Fan. I'm going to rattle through them quickly. How did I get interested in traveling to Bosnia? Well, I have a lot of Bosnian friends from my hometown in the US. We have a refugee center there, and so my city of Utica is more than 10% Bosnian. So that always kind of piqued my interest. And then I was living in Europe, and I would go, and when my friends would go to Bosnia to see their family, I would come from Switzerland and meet them there because it's not too far, as a way to see my friends, and that just kind of started the interest, and I've loved it ever since. Next question, how old am I? 27 as of last week. Number 3, will you ever meet my girlfriend? Well, in person, probably not, but she's been in a few videos on the channel. If you want to go and search for that yourself, you can find them. 4th question, am I currently living in America? No, I'm living in Switzerland. And then 5th question, favorite genre and artist of music? At the moment, I'm really loving the Bad Bunny album. That might come as a surprise, but I really like the new Bad Bunny album. I've never liked his older stuff. It was a bit commercial for me, but I really like how musical the new album is. Oh, what is this guy doing over here? What is this? The Swiss are always doing some crazy sport that you've never seen or heard of before. Seriously, what is this guy doing? This is the kind of thing you would only see in Switzerland. But I listen to a lot of music. I really do enjoy hip-hop music. Kendrick obviously just had a huge year. You know, I like a lot of Tyler, the Creator's albums. But beyond that, I also listen to a lot of international music, whether it be from Latin America or older stuff from Europe, like Fabrizio De André from Italy, or like Françoise Hardy from France. Wow. I like a lot of Arab music. Fayrouz, of course, from Lebanon. And then a lot of the stuff that's come from Habibi Funk, the record label, which releases older Arabic music. Just a lot of cool stuff from them. And then finally, of course, Balkan music. I think Dino Merlin is the GOAT. He really has a few, not just even select songs, but there's a few albums from him that I think front to back are just really great listens, especially Fotografia. And there's a good chance that on a 5-hour bus ride through the back roads of the Balkans that I'm listening to something that I just mentioned. Oh, and I forgot, I also like these albums as well. Next question, when traveling alone by bus to remote locations or villages in the Balkans, have I ever felt unsafe? What are the difficult situations that I've encountered, and what would I recommend to people? The people, for the vast majority of the time, are super welcoming. I've never really had an issue with people, maybe once or twice, like once in Kosovo. This is a bit specific to me because I was filming. There was a younger guy who wasn't too happy that I was filming. And then another time, I was hanging out in Montenegro with this guy, and his friend came, and he was like a little bit intoxicated, and he wanted to give me a ride back to Nikšić. And in that case, I mean, he was just kind of like over the top, had clearly like something a little bit off mentally, and was drunk. So I just kind of like excused myself from the situation. But these are the negatives. I mean, for the positives are that people are so welcoming. They are typically very interested as to why you're there. And, you know, I wouldn't be shocked at all if you just showed up to a random village and someone welcomed you in for coffee. Obviously, keep a head on your shoulders, and if something seems a bit off, then it's better to be safe than sorry. So never be afraid to excuse yourself from a conversation. And another piece of advice I would say is learn a bit of the local language wherever that is that you go. I think it's important to be able to ask, like, what time does the bus come? Where does the bus come? Explain a little bit, like, my name is whatever, I'm from wherever, and I'm here to see your town. I think it's beautiful. Like, just basic things like that. If before you travel, you can just learn like 5 or 6 phrases. So yeah, just 5 or 6 phrases to be able to communicate that you're interested in seeing how the people where you are visiting are living. Yeah, things like that. And like, I think just asking genuine questions, and I mean, for me, I don't have to like put on a facade, because I really genuinely am interested in the places that I go. So I think just be polite, and people will be polite to you, and especially in the Balkans, the people are very welcoming. The one thing that I would recommend watching out for is the dogs. If a dog ever charges you, you yell at them, and you act like kind of the alpha, and then usually they'll back down. And if not, then carry some rocks and throw the rocks at the dog's feet if it's ever charging you. It's never happened to me. One time in Montenegro, a dog charged me, and I yelled at it. And it just went right away. So don't run from dogs. That's what I've learned, and you'll be okay. But overall, just general travel advice applies. Learn a little bit of the local language. Keep a head on your shoulders. And yeah, and people will generally be very welcoming. But like I said, always better safe than sorry. All right, we're gonna walk again. Check it out, guys. It's a Swiss Spomenik. I'll keep the camera front facing for this next question, and that way you can see just how beautiful the lakefront is here in Lausanne. Next question. So Nostalgia discovered my channel during my hitchhiking from Switzerland to Bosnia series with no money, which I did with my good friend Felix, and asks if I will ever do any challenges like that in the future, or if it will just be more polished videos from now on. So that's a good question, actually. I have thought about doing some, big long distance challenges like that. Like, I guess the closest thing I've done since then would be traveling from Istanbul to Sarajevo over 4 days, but there's not really a challenge aspect to it. It's just a long travel. I'm hesitant to do challenge content because I really don't like this culture of challenge content that's taken over the internet in the last couple of years. I think it's very clickbaity, but I also understand the appeal because you can sum up the entire thing and make it a clickbaity thing in one sentence pretty easily, like hitchhiking from Switzerland to Bosnia with no money. It sounds absurd, and so it makes people want to click. So I get it. I get the appeal, but it's not really something that I want to do. I think I've found a good place with these polished videos where I can really tell a story, hopefully meet some people along the way to help me tell that story. And I think that that's kind of where my bread and butter is for now. But that being said, there are some things that I would love to do, like, for example, like a bike trip through the Balkans, I think would be amazing. Like biking from Switzerland to Greece or something. Or, biking from Switzerland to Istanbul. Of course, it's not like that novel of a challenge. It's something that anyone could do, but I think that it would be a good way to kind of combine this sort of challenge with also a travel vlog and showing how these places along the way are from a different perspective on a bike rather than on a bus, and traveling the way that I usually do. And I think that would be the ideal challenge content I would want to do. And the dream, the pie in the sky thing, that, it might be impossible. But one thing that I would love to do is take a lap of the Mediterranean Sea. That would be the dream, the ultimate dream for this channel. Here you have the marina of Lausanne. So this is where, if you have a boat in Lausanne, this is where you'll keep it. I don't think I'll ever own a boat, to be honest, but if I were to have one in Lausanne, this is where I would keep it. We have Borna Boric, who asks, why not do a Switzerland series? And it's a good question. And I've thought about making videos here in Switzerland before. But the issue is that I don't find Switzerland nearly as interesting as I find the other places that I travel to and film at. Switzerland, it's very polished. It's very... there's some places that are rougher around the edges, and maybe someday I will showcase those, but I don't know. For me, Switzerland just isn't nearly as interesting as the villages and cities of the Balkans and some other places. But other people have made the point that there are a lot of people from the Balkans here in Switzerland, and that's something I would consider doing, is going maybe to like a Balkan cultural center here in Switzerland and seeing if there's anyone there that I could talk to and ask them about their experiences. So that's something I'm open to for sure. Or for example, like talking to refugees from different places here in Switzerland. That's something that I'd be interested in. But in terms of showcasing Swiss culture, it's just a bit too refined and polished for me. And besides, you can find a lot of people who can make a video in Switzerland, and I don't think I would be able to make a video showcasing Swiss culture as well as a lot of other people would. Whereas I think with Balkan culture, I'm in a more unique position because I've learned the language and I'm just very, very fascinated in it. So I think that I'm better suited to be there for now. Okay, now we have a weirdly specific question. They said that it's weirdly specific, not me. Asking about, after traveling to both Bosnian and Albanian speaking places, would I say that the Bosniaks, meaning the Slavic speaking Muslims in places like Macedonia and Kosovo, would I say that they are more similar to other Bosniaks, like in Bosnia and the Sanjak, or would I say that they are more similar to Albanians? I don't think I have a good answer to this question. And I think the main reason is that I don't speak Albanian. I don't speak Albanian, and so I think that inhibits me from really having a deep understanding of Albanian culture, whether that be in Albania, Kosovo, or Macedonia. I don't really have a good answer, but I think it's a good question, and I think that someone who has more knowledge on maybe these inter-ethnic relationships of the Balkans could give a better answer. But I will say, I think that the people I met in Kosovo in general were very welcoming, regardless of whether, like, I think that the Bosniaks that I met in Kosovo were super, super welcoming, and maybe it was just the people that I met, like Rapids, for example, but they were so nice. And I don't know how that influences my answer, to be completely honest, but I don't think I know enough about Albanian culture to be able to answer that question properly. But it's a good question, and I would love if people could provide their thoughts in the comments from your experiences of meeting with like Bosniak people, whether it's in North Macedonia or in Kosovo, like, or just from watching my videos. Have you noticed things about those people versus, say, people from Bosnia? I don't know. It's a thought-provoking question, but I don't have the knowledge to be able to answer it properly without starting a fight in the comments, at least. So I'll just let you fight about it in the comments anyways, as I know you will. Okay, we have Mia who asks, what do I miss the most about each Balkan country that I've been to? I'm going to try to think of something that I like from each Balkan country specifically. And for the purpose of this exercise, I am going to say that Slovenia and Croatia are Balkan. Again, you can fight about that in the comments. From Slovenia, I would say the fusion between Western European and Balkan culture, I think it's really there. Like, you kind of have more Balkan food, obviously Slavic language. You've got some nice communist architecture here and there. But I think the attitudes of the people are a bit more Western, like more similar to Austria. And a lot of the places, at least that I went in the northwest of the country, are more similar to Austria in feel, just with the mountains and everything. So that would be Slovenia. Croatia, I think the diversity in the landscape. In the northeast section of the country, in Slavonia and Pannonia, if that reaches into Croatia, you have like fields, and then you'll just have like a random mountain that kind of pops up. In Istria, you kind of have these green flowing hills, and it, you know, feels maybe more like Italy or something. In Dalmatia, you have some of the most beautiful coastline. So I think the landscapes of Croatia are really, really amazing, and it's no wonder that it's become such a big tourist destination. In Macedonia, I would say it's really just a calm place. I was only in Skopje for a few hours, but I was in Prilep and I was in Desovo, a small village near Prilep. And I just liked how laid back and chill everything was, but there was still like people out and about. Yeah, it was good, and the food was good. In Serbia, I would say it's the passion and character of the people. I mean, I think I met some real characters in that country, and passionate about a lot of things. I mean, look at the news right now. So yeah, shout out to the Serbian people. Look at my comment section, how passionate they are. So then you have, what else do we got? We got Montenegro. I just love how chill it is in Crna Gora. Like, it's really a meme that the people from Montenegro are very relaxed. And I mean, we went there and I think we saw that firsthand. Kosovo, the trip I took to Kosovo was amazing. The people were so welcoming. Like, I would say that the people in Kosovo were some of the most welcoming people that I have met. And I think that was true really everywhere that I went. The people in Pristina were great. The people in, obviously, the Bosniak people we met in the south of the country. In Peja, we met some cool people, just very welcoming. Bulgaria, I wasn't there for very long. But I really like the landscapes. They have cool mountains. And then for countries I've visited, that just leaves Bosnia. And I think that the list would be too long to list in this video. So you can just go watch my other videos and find plenty of things that I miss about Bosnia. Here, headquartered in Lausanne, is the International Olympic Committee. And here is a monument or whatever, a sign to the Olympics saying that the next Summer Olympics starts in 1,208 days in LA, in California. And then the other side, for some reason, this side is pointing away from the road. We have the Winter Olympics in just under a year in Milano Cortina, not too far from here. And voila. So there you go, guys. We have 2 more questions to get to. The first one, and I think this is the best question, is asked by Belman, who many of you are familiar with if you watched our adventures across Bosnia and Herzegovina this year. His question is Selo ili grad, village or city? And such a tough question. But I think that you can't appreciate one without the other. You can't appreciate all of the things that the city has to offer, all of the excitement, all of the food available, the gym, all that stuff, if you don't understand that it's not available everywhere. And at the same time, you can't appreciate the calmness, tranquility, peacefulness, and simplicity of the village if you don't understand the chaos of the city. So I would say both. You can't have one without the other. And I love them both equally. And I love spending time in villages just as much as I do in cities. And I think in the West, it's different. I think in a place like Switzerland or in a place like the US, I would much rather be in a city, because that's just kind of the lifestyle that I live. But in terms of, especially in like the Balkans or just the places that I travel in general, I think I would say that they each have their own attributes which are admirable. And I would spend a week in a Bosnian or Croatian or Serbian village just as quickly as I would spend a week in Sarajevo, Zagreb, or in Belgrade. So it's a tie, really, and you can't have one without the other. This one, I think, the macho.
I like the macho.
Are you down to split 2?
What do you mean? We're each having 2?
No, like split 2. Like you have half of one and half of another one.
Oh, I could do that. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
Because I was thinking the same thing, and it's pretty lame if we get the same thing.
Okay. I could get a coordinate.
Okay.
I don't mind. I like the corners. I'm going to probably get Shumska about your corner then.